Welcome to the Musing Moon Meditation. This moon meditation is brought to you by the new moon in Virgo. From my channel to yours, blessings to you, my energetic beings, and SHA to you, my friends, and welcome to the Musing Moon Meditation. I am your host, Holistic Shaman Medium and Subtle Energetic Surgeon, prescribing the indigenous ways of nature to heal what ails you, the galactic grid. For more insight into what it is that I do, head on over to my Musing Club at club.tonyadee.tv as we continue into the realms of the moon. This new moon in the sign of Virgo peaks at the magical hour of 6:51 p.m. Mountain Time, at least in Utah. Check your time zone for the moment she lights up in your earthly realm. With the new moon in Virgo on September 6th, 2021 at the 14th degree, we are in a day-to-day reality of where our heart belongs, a feeling of safety in relation to order, clarity, and more importantly, our emotions. We are musing about the moon after all, aren't we? As we begin our journey to this new moon, you might have an emotional need to organize everything. I know I sure have been. Since the sun first entered Virgo season, organizing everything that is maybe feeling chaotic, even disorganized, maybe abrupt. It's time to be more loving to our imperfections, accept things and release them. It's better to trust in life, our corridor, and let it run its own way, just allowing everything to flow. Not everything needs to be in accordance with our expectations, right? Tune into your body. See if you have any alert signals in your digestive system or your tract, the colon, the small intestine, the body's ability to actually absorb nutrients. This new moon actually peaks or starts on the 6th of September. New moons are actually the start of a new lunar cycle. It's the energy that draws inward, and we can utilize this inward flow of energy to retreat within, to go deep, to reflect, but also take a minute to draw in what you wish into your life as well. As we climb into our skin, you might find yourself feeling a little bit chaotic, a little all over the place. If you can remember that this energy is this inward flow, the yin of it, or the energy is in, you might find yourself feeling more grounded and more present in your body under the essence of the opening of this new moon. When we see the essence under the comforter of the sky being dark, it's in the darkness of the unknowingness of what's to come and being authentically okay. Trust your inner barometer, your guiding light. This darkness and this uncertainty, the depth of this darkness in the harvest, the fall, it's a symbol of needing to actually go within, removing ourselves from the forces of adversity, the stimulating bright light of the outer world, our day-to-day reality. I always say in the darkness of the night or the darkest hour, there is always a spark of light. We have a blank canvas. We have our potential where we have an open slate to really create and be inspired. So it's a time where the night is dark, the sky appears moonless in a way. In essence, we have the power to create, plant seeds of our intentions into the earth for the energy that is actually to come in the birth of 2023. Being in the sign of the body, the single mother, the mother-daughter relationships, this feminine divine energy, just staying grounded, being embodied, connected to the earth is actually going to be the tonic, the infusion of this moon. You might even notice that the energy feels all over the place. It's kind of frantic in a way. So are you wanting new things, new adventures that you seek to explore, creating change that's actually productive? Maybe even a feeling that the time has come to do things differently in a new way, or even to try something that you've always wanted to try and explore. It's really a guiding light to connect with our inner self, our inner child, and muse about our ancestral wounds or the generational kind of stories that have been playing out in the narrative. We have the elements and other earth signs. We have Uranus in the earth sign of Taurus. innovating what we value and actually how we manifest. We also have Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, transforming our feelings of where we truly belong and taking in that energy of where our heart belongs. In the law of attraction in action, where do you belong? Does your heart feel like it belongs innovating what you value in your day-to-day heart channel, your reality? So when we allow and we don't chase, we attract what does belong to come to us as we need it. There's this aspect of this energy, it's an offer that actually guides us to explore our habits, our beliefs, even our attitudes that we have collected from our childhood that really no longer serve us. They don't bring us any value. So this energy to heal these generational wounds, Virgo is the healer and also the analyzer. So I would say from the late 1930s to the early 1940s, it's actually the last time that Uranus was cascading through Taurus. What we value in our day-to-day reality is actually online to be transformed. Even healing those ancestral wounds that sometimes actually manifest in our body. Sometimes those wounds aren't really from this lifetime, but they're inherited from both the earth realm, our family on earth, and also our soul family. They can even be connected to the land that we live on, our environment. So kind of look into your early childhood and just become aware of how they're actually manifesting in your current reality. For me, they're like thread lines, they're tinker toys or fishing lines. Just being aware and identifying those childhood patterns, those ancestral wounds. It honestly takes a lot of energy. I'm not going to kid you there. So if you feel called to do the work, climb into your shadows, the book of shadows, you really might find that this new moon opens the door, the corridor. It creates the ease in the discomfort, while also allowing the healing process, which is Virgo, to feel the moon's energy, the moon, right? It'll be more natural and even organic. So do you like how things are showing up for you, or is it time to break the chain and try something new? New moons are a time to call in things in. If you feel that you have been working on your shadows already, calling in your ancestors for a while, might show up in different areas of your life. So this new moon is a powerful portal for healing and also transcending. We can dive a bit deeper into our energetic blocks, our strongholds, the baggage. They can be both mental strongholds or emotional strongholds, physical strongholds, barrier in a way, just allowing us to become aware of their presence in our lives. You want to just allow it to be this gentle opening to healing for you by just becoming aware, reality, right? So you might not get all of the answers, but by just becoming aware, we can begin the shift to make the healing to transcend. This new moon in Virgo, can send mixed waves of energy that might just trigger those old generational wounds. We have Chiron and Aries, the wounded healer, or our Achilles heel, but it's also during those triggers that we can become inspired actually to try new things. Kind of two opposing forces, manifestations are at opposite ends of the spectrum, which is why this particular new moon might feel a little bit topsy-turvy. Maybe you feel like you're on a seesaw or a swinging set, going from side to side. You're not in your flow. You might even feel emotionally scattered, maybe overwhelmed. But Virgo is a grounding force of energy that is holding the grid. It's the sign of the Virgin, but more about the wholeness and the completion of knowing that we are always whole in our container, in our vessel. We are the entire galactic universe manifesting in a human vessel, the experience. We are whole, complete. And we really don't need anything outside of ourselves in order to actually tune in and connect with this vital energy. It's like this powerful reservoir of the source, the divine, that lives within each and every body, every one of us. So Virgo actually teaches us this. We are source. We are the universe. We are one with all of it. It's the oneness field in a way. So it's like bringing heaven to earth, or spirit to earth, to reality. And when we recognize the light within us, we then, that's when we can tune in and connect with all of the power of the galactic universe that actually comes along with it, finding our own personal power, our personal truths, and know that no storm is ever too wild for us to move through it. There's always a calm at the end of the storm where we can sink into the earth and connect to the source around us everywhere and in everything. Just by allowing this connection, it's our personal power grid. Just allow it to trigger your innate power, the being that resides within you. Know that you are in your container and you are embodied, you are whole. So you really want to use this energy to create the reality, manifest the reality, bring in the fresh new energy into your day-to-day, break any cycles that no longer need to be in your life. Take the first step, I would say a baby step, or, even a giant leap out into those frontiers. Your energy won't be wasted. More importantly, it'll be transformed. And, celebrate what has often come before you. There needs to be a celebration, and also what's coming after. Whatever you are calling in comes from what belongs. It belongs at a different level. Where do you belong? When the universe gives you a bit of a breakthrough and an understanding that whatever you're calling in belongs, but it belongs at a different level. So that could be where you belong going for, say, getting a new car or getting a new job or even purchasing a house, getting a loan. But up until that breakthrough, you might not have been real clear about where it is exactly that your manifestation, your intention was blocked. You have to get in your mind around this truth and remember, as soon as you identify where you think you belong, you're ready for this new moon meditation. What your heart mixes with where you belong, it's where or what is your heart feeling? What does your heart believe? And mix those two together to create where you belong. What does your heart feel like it belongs somewhere, What is it that you think? It's this intellectual channel where our mind gets wrapped around our authentic truth. The truth really is that your heart might have said that you belonged at a certain bank or a certain publisher. Maybe you're creating a novel. But your mind might have disagreed or argued and had a different opinion. Your mind doesn't always necessarily agree. It might go against your first dialogue, your inner voice inside of yourself, what you have learned, or it might even go against what you've heard. That's kind of like what you're seeing versus what you're hearing aren't in alignment. It's that same kind of feeling and frequency. So our mind is always trying to get our mind around it. Where exactly do we belong? And even identify that space and get some mental clarity. So the interesting thing about this new moon, it's usually kind of a mirror at first. At first, your mind is going to orient to where you thought you belonged in the past. It's a bit kind of unstable. That's the shaky ground. And you might begin thinking that you belong going in one direction, but also at the end of the day, you might think that you belong in a different direction. So it's kind of mastering these two channels of our mind. What does that mean? It means that when your mind is finally on board in alignment with your reality and with your spirit, in essence, it means when you get this together, this alignment in your mind, it's finally on board. So your mind has this understanding what things are supposed to be in your reality. And, this is very powerful. If our thoughts aren't in alignment with our intention, our reality, then we haven't come to becoming clear. We don't have any mental clarity. So if our mind's considering two different timelines, two different paths at the same time, we actually lose our potential with our intention, our manifestation, and so on and so forth. So it's really, you really want to become crystal clear on where it is that your heart belongs in your soul story, where you belong with your manifestation, your intention, your creation. This degree is actually in alignment with my own personal midheaven. So I use this degree naturally. It's like a natural-born intellectual innovator. I'm pretty thought-provoking. I muse outside the box. I look through the eyes of God a lot, always comparing different potentials of belonging states. I come across otherworldly, not being very logical. I appear kind of random because my thoughts are random. And what I say is random, and I choose thoughts not so much from a logical point of view, not from intellectual or a dialogue. I choose thoughts from my heart center, where my heart belongs. So I'm kind of random sometimes in things I say. If you watched any of my interviews, choosing thoughts based on where my heart believes things belong, or, I do appear irrational. It's because I'm not using rational thinking in order to drive. Instead, I'm using my heart channel, my God channel, and where I sense things belong. So it's like an innovative analyzer healer in a way, and I analyze people, the rhythm of all the things. Like when I say all the things, I'm looking at the elemental realm. I'm looking in a different timeline. So it's kind of how I just kind of beat in my own drum. I'm looking at the energetics. Sometimes I have a shock value. I tend to shock people. I don't think about what I say. I just felt right with my insta heart to go there and say those things. So I am often a little shocking when you get to know me, when I actually absolutely 100% feel comfortable with you, because I'm kind of throwing out random bits of information or things that actually appear random. But once it's all out, it actually makes logical sense, and there's no need really to argue. No, I don't have the logic to support what I'm saying. So if you're manifesting something into reality, this is really the new moon where you usually create some sort of contract. You can't wait. You understand that your mind finally understands where things need to go. You finally understand what the fine print needs to be. You have an understanding what time, what does the contract need to be? What does the story need to be? So stop where you would want to do anything, formal in writing. We want to just go ahead and kind of negotiate a deal with ourselves in our day-to-day, kind of scribe your story. And a lot of things that you would typically consider to be how we manifest intentions that don't really happen, you kind of want to go ahead and just sign on the dotted line, negotiate the deal, order the parts, write the story, or whatever it is, because ultimately you're becoming more clear in where your heart feels things actually belong in your day-to-day reality. So if you're in the process of creating, manifesting, you've already got your intentions, this is this is the time to put the stamp, put the letter in the mail, sign on the dotted line. You want to go ahead and just really fill in a lot of the little details. Maybe up until now, you've been trying to manifest a house, a new career, whatever it is, and you realize that you have this realization in your reality that you want a different house. You want a modern house, not a cabin, or, a house that's out in the country, far away from society. Maybe you want to build your own village, all these things of where your house belongs, what kind of a career, whatever it is. So you kind of want to drill down deeper and decide on everything, like what belongs in the house, say, or everything that doesn't. So a lot of times people tend, when they do an intention, and the reason I'm talking about this so much is actually because I understand this degree, because I have it, So a lot of times people, when we want to, innovate or manifest, or we have an intention, we have this picture, create a vision board, and, create a picture of what you really want to manifest. So it's time to create this picture with all those fine little details. And remember, what's determining what you think is what your heart feels that you belong with in your heart space. And you want to keep in mind that the energy is actually going to feel a little wonky if your heart belongs with it. It's not probably going to make a lot of sense to other people at first, or maybe even to yourself. It might even defy logic. It might go against the grain. It might even be out of this world, otherworldly. But when you know it's correct, it's because your heart knows you belong with it. It's in the fine print. It's in the reality, your spirit, the intention behind your spirit, and the intention is in line as well. So when you're ready to get your mind around where it is that your heart belongs in your day-to-day reality, your intentions, your manifestations, where you're clear in your imagery, you've got all the details. We're going to do a total channel cleansing. And at that moment, that's when I would like you to do the manifestation. So first things first. So a ritual I would recommend you doing, even during, as you're creating your vision of what you want your intentions to be down to the details. I would possibly first cleanse your auric field, your energetic field. I generally use herbs or essential oils. I use my shaman drum, bells, whatever it is, and just kind of sage your beingness. You don't have to use sage. You can use any herb. You could use lavender, whatever you're called to. Be sure to have a pen and a paper. I light candles. I leave candles lit 24/7. Possibly, some green herbal tea, cup of coffee, black. That's kind of what I would do. So you kind of want to start by cleansing your auric field and just even your surrounding, using whatever tool that you want to use. You could use a rattle, whatever you decide. And, every day, just love yourself and love yourself more. And every day, just kind of work to release and let go of all the stress and all the anxieties. But today, with this Virgo new moon, you want to be supportive of your body by cleansing and releasing anything that is blocking you in your reality, all of the triggers, anything that keeps you in fear, feel into the light, feel into the openness. Know in your beingness that you are an aspect of the greater spirit, the divine, the source. You are love, and that your energy is protected and you are clear. So after you are doing the cleansing process, you've done your surroundings, you want to bring in, just musing around how you can utilize the power of love and the power of light to cleanse and protect your sacred space. Because your space you're creating, you're going to magnetize for joy and attracting everything that is of a higher flavor, a higher ingredient, the good and the gooder. And just knowing that your space is cleansed and clear and protected. You have your candle lit, you're just kind of setting the stage or the mood. And obviously, sit somewhere comfortable where you can muse about what it is your intention or your manifestation is, and kind of sit with it and just ask, does my heart feel I belong over here? Am I open to that, or whatever it feels like? So as you're in the comforts, you've cleansed your space, a couple things to think about or muse about for your writing and your details, to release all the old things, the traumas that might have happened in your youth, your childhood. Kind of sit and write a letter to your child self. Whether, it's traumatic or life-changing, what would you have wanted your younger self to know? What would you have wanted your younger self to hear in those moments? Or also, you could identify something that you feared as a child, a nightmare or whatever. How did that fear make you feel? Where do you sense or feel or think that fear came from? And it's good just to write it all down. But I also want you to think about how those feelings kind of continue to manifest in your grid, in your story, in your narrative, your chapters, or, do they show up in your day-to-day life? So you want to come up with like 3, 5 at the most little ideas. Just make note of any insights or aha moments, an epiphany or something. And after you've kind of journaled down these things, just allow yourself to have time to process or digest and eliminate what's come up while you're kind of in your own sacred space. I want you to, so after that, and we're going to begin the meditation, I want you to get in a comfortable position. Myself, I listen to meditations while I'm driving. I don't listen to music so much in my car. Go out in nature. You're kind of getting into your ritual space through a virtual musing. So as you sit there, I want you to affirm the magical being that resides within you. I want you to connect with your higher self, your Sira, your ancestors, the angelic beings, your spirit guardian or gatekeeper or guides. And you want to receive healing to your inner child, allowing your inner child to feel loved, and also be present within yourself and feel your own self-love. You are supported and you are held. You are in the comforts of the galactic universe. We're going to call in support for healing and releasing of any generational cycles, any timelines, any past lives, even this current life, from life that no longer serve your highest good, your highest value. We're going to allow the healing to flow in our own personal way, in all of the ways that we are authentically ready for and ready to. So each breath, I always like to breathe in, hold for a count of 3, and exhale. So now that we've created our sacred container and we are in our space, we are comforted, we are loved, and our feelings are of joy. So each in-breath, I want you to breathe into your sacred heart space. And on the exhale, we're going to release each aspect. So our first inhale, we are connecting and we are protecting to our heart center. And on the exhale, all the foreign debris is released. Then we're going to inhale our love channel. And on the exhale, we're going to release anything that is not loving to our body, to our beingness. We're going to evict all the foreign energies about love of self, love of our bodies, love in our realities that no longer serve us. Inhale our emotions. We're inhaling emotions of love, joy, abundance, gratitude, feelings of blessing, and seeing the light of the new day. And we're going to evict any feelings of blame or shame, fear, anything that doesn't belong in our narrative, our story of our feelings. Inhale beliefs of knowing, beliefs of feeling, higher beliefs, higher philosophies, otherworldly beliefs. And we're going to exhale all beliefs that no longer serve our highest good. Now we're going to inhale where our heart belongs, our truth of our story, what we belong doing, what we belong feeling, what we belong believing. Where does your heart truly belong? And as you exhale, you're going to exhale any places where you no longer belong, whether it's an environment, whether it's friends, whether it's food that you no longer belong eating. And as you exhale all of that, it dissipates. Now I want you to breathe in through your heart all the thoughts that are illogical, they're otherworldly. And I want you to breathe those thoughts in, things that are out of the blue or out of this world, and just allow them to sit. And on your exhale, you're going to release all the logical things that get in the way, the channels of subscribing to a narrative that it's not in alignment with your heart. And just exhale anything that is mindless and not mindful. Inhale through your heart, and you're going to take in the ability to receive the juiciness from the galactic corridor, source energy. You're feeling the love and the light of the greater spirit. And in your heart, you authentically know where you belong, and you're open to receiving that feeling, that goodness. And on your exhale, you're eliminating things that no longer belong, thoughts that don't belong in your corridor. On your next breath into your heart channel, I want you to breathe in the Great Spirit and just allow your gatekeepers, your ancestors, your guides to kind of finalize the essence of the spiritual being that you are meant to be, the essence of your spirit that belongs in tune and in alignment with your beingness. And as you exhale all of the foreign energies, the beings that don't belong in your field, are dissipating, they are leaving, you are waving goodbye to them. You're not wishing them harm, you're sending them on their journey with love and light. On your next inhale, I want you to commit to all the things on the dotted line that you created in your journal, the life you're meant to live. And these things belong in your presence. You've made decisions from your heart space of what does belong and what doesn't belong in your corridor. And your mind is giving you the go card to flow with the dotted line. Anything that doesn't belong, you've decided to let it go, let it recycle. Give it away. It no longer serves you. On your next in-breath, we're going to breathe in the goodness of all of our actions, all of our behaviors, our uplifting attitude, things that do belong in our corridor, in our gateway, in our beingness. Our actions come from a higher space. Our behaviors are from a higher space. They're in line and in attunement with the greater spirit, our ancestors. And as you exhale, any actions or behaviors or characters that are no longer comfortable, they might be familiar, but it's time that you became unfamiliar with a new fitting, a new clothes, a new being in essence. So let everything that no longer serves you in your actions and your character, on your exhale, dissipate. They're no longer in your garden. On your next inhale through your heart space, I want you to breathe in the source of your value, your intention, your manifestations. I want you to see that visually through your third eye. All the details, all the perfection, everything is healing in your grid. You are manifesting in your body the being you are meant to be. Anything that's in the way of your manifestation or your intentions are all cascading outside your galactic sphere. Your next inhale, you're going to inhale into your heart space, into your God channel. You are connected, and your intentions have the clarity to be in alignment, to actually be in your reality. You are in your skin. You have climbed into your vessel, into your beingness, and you feel in your body the love of the greater spirit, the love of your ancestors, the love of your inner world, your day-to-day world, the love of the unfamiliars. And with that, I say, Inshallah, Ashe, make this a magical new moon in Virgo. Inshallah, Ashe once again.